I'm sitting here checking out this chat. Frickin' Tony, man. Hope you guys are doing okay. It is Monday, May 15th. The month is halfway over. I don't know what the hell we're going to do. These years, these days are just sliding by like a fat guy on an icy pond. Good morning, Santee. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Justin. Good morning, Ty. Hope you're doing good. Hope I didn't miss anybody. Let me see here real quick. Let me see here. Yes, Auntie Tony York, Justin Woods. You skinny bastard. Oh, let me see here. There's Jan. Good morning, dear. Hope you're doing well this morning. Brenna's here. Good morning, beautiful. There's Fishing. Man alive. Woo. Ah, 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 ah. I cannot believe it is Monday already. The month is half over with. We've got 16 days. 16 days left in the month of May. Just seems like ever since the pandemic, these years are scooting by. And I cannot figure out. I can't figure it out. I just can't. Good morning, Shane. Good to see you, bud. Uh, I wasn't even, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't even sure when I got up this morning if I was going to be able to do this. I mean, you guys all know about my right eye. I woke up this morning, my left eye is itching like crazy. It's blurry. I've had to sit here. I think I've got an eyelash or something like way up high underneath my eyelid. I've tried getting my eye to water. It's constantly watering, but that thing is still up there. I can feel it whenever I blink, just irritating the hell out of my upper eye. It's like, dude, how are you ever going to read the chat? So, yeah, if I misread something or I miss it, that's why. Because you're dealing with a guy that's blind in one eye and apparently today can't see out of the other. Oh man, what's in the news? Better yet, who gives a rat's ass what's in the news? Oh man, Shane is at work. How's Amelia doing, Shane? The last we heard, she had that setback here a couple weeks ago, and a week ago or so, when she got real bad sick. How's she doing now? Blaming it on old age. I'm blaming it on like these girly eyelashes that my mom's genetics managed to give me. These suckers are long. They fall out worse than the hair on my head. It's not going to be very long before I look like Jason Dawes from Ghost Hunters. You know, big fuzzy full goatee and bald as a baby's butt. She's doing okay, just chugging along. She is definitely the little engine that could. That's for sure. She's uh she's gonna end up proving them all wrong, man. That's one strong little woman right there. I cannot wait to meet her. Just to give her a big hug and tell her how much I admire her strength. My God, shit, that poor little thing's been through these last or this last year. Oh, so how's everybody doing? We did an EW show yesterday. Finally, there you go. How's Jimmy doing? Is he getting past everything? Looking forward to starting over and good morning, Christine. Good to see you, love. Jimmy's okay. Good, 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 good. I got a new coat that fits me for my Civil War reenactment. Awesome, awesome. Waiting on disability and Medicare to help her. You know, I'm getting stuff from Medicare already in the mail. I'm getting phone calls from Medicare, and all like, are you satisfied with your Medicare? I'm more than satisfied with it. Well, I was up until 10 seconds ago when Medicare called me and asked me how I was because I'm 54, guys. I don't have Medicare. Been working on 2 motorcycles. Very cool. Very cool. Motorcycles. Well, you're going to save a lot in gas usage driving a motorcycle, that's for sure. Running a half hour late. Been working on 2 motorcycles. I don't know what I'm doing. It has shiny new buttons. Keep them shiny, bud. Start looking for yourself one of those button guards. The little brass button guards that close over your buttons so you can polish them individually without getting the polish on the wool. Those things are always handy. And I mean, you can make one out of cardboard if you have to until you find a brass one. Just, cut a little hole in there, just a little bit smaller than your button. I mean, just a hair smaller than your button. That way you can pop your button through and you can polish it, and all the polish will go onto the cardboard. And then you can move right down to the next button and keep going. I mean, it's not as cool as having the one that's got like the 6 holes in it where you can do them 6 at a time. But whatever it takes to keep the brasso on them and keep them nice and shiny. Actually surprised me yesterday and showed up to spend the day. Aww, that's cool. Steph and Steph and Trevor and Hero showed up yesterday morning, and I guess Steph and my Steph and Steph's mom and Hero all went out for breakfast. Well, lunch by the time her mom finally got out of bed. But they all went out for lunch. I had to go to work. Ash, of course, stayed here and played with her devices. And Trevor went fishing. So, yeah. We're trying to get disability. Get you Medicare. Um, oh, does it? Well, I didn't know that. So, I'm 50 and don't have Medicare. Don't have Medicare either. I'm thinking about signing up for AARP. I watch AAP all the time. One is a 81 Honda CB750. The other is a project bike. Yeah, my dad had an 82 or an 83 750. And he wound up pulling the baffles. Um, he basically made a garage Harley out of it. Um, Souped up the engine just a hair, pulled the baffles so it had the louder exhaust on it, extended the forks out to about a 9, um, put the um, yeah, I'm sorry, girls, I don't want to offend anybody. Stuck a pussy post on the back so my mom could ride with him, and they spent most of my teenage years up to about 26, I would say. They probably put 5,000 miles on that bike. And even when they moved to Tennessee, my dad My dad kept his bike for a while, and they would just randomly take off, just like they do in the car now. He'd wake up and look at my mom, say, "You got to work this weekend?" Nope. Want to go for a ride? Automatically, she goes in, packs a suitcase, or starts packing duffel bags to stick into the saddlebags, because a ride to dad could be a 2 hour ride, it could be a 2 day ride. So you just, when is the next investigation? That's a good question. That's a very good question. Mark had some people quit on him. I was going to do an investigation last night. I never heard back from Heather. She's working now part time as well, trying to bring in a little extra money, kill the boredom around the house. But we were going to go out and do one last night and never had a chance to. So, but Mark had some people quit, so now he's having to cover a lot more shifts. Uh, Hopefully here real soon. I might do an impromptu investigation next weekend when I'm at the Ren Fair. The park that we have it in is well, it was an old settlers village. Settlers and the local native tribe were there together, and there's a double-sided fireplace built in the park. I mean, you've got one smokestack and you've got a fireplace on each side where they used to um, cook the sap to make syrup and stuff. So sap sugar and syrup and things like that. So since there was a village right there by the river, I think I might take the equipment with me just on the in case. Since nights are really pretty slow, I might have to yell at a homeless person or somebody once in a while to get out of the park. But thinking about possibly taking the box with me and testing out some of the new equipment and doing a little filming on that one. All right, let me see here. I see Resaca up here. I'm getting ready for the 159th Resaca. Oh, nice. My phone, when it does a spell check on its own. Every Australian citizen has Medicare from the time they are born. Oh, wow. Morning, Stephen. Good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well. Oh, of course, man. I love that song. Should Have Been a Cowboy has always been one of my favorites. I got to get a few parts for it before I can ride it. New tires, fuel line, lights. Tires are always important. I mean, they always come in handy. Lights, only if you're running it during the nighttime. We're planning to do early watch Monday, Friday morning at 9 Central, starting this Friday. Well, there might be a stream. There might be a stream for an hour or so Friday morning, at least from me. Normally with the Ren Fair, I show up on Thursday night. That way I'm there for anybody coming in early on Friday. I'm there to help get the stages and stuff set up and things like that. Since I'm working now, I actually have to work a double on Friday or Thursday. I work my normal day shift, then go back in the evening and work for another 3 hours. So I'm not going to be able to go Thursday night. I got to go as early as possible on Friday to hopefully beat the guys coming in, bringing in the benches, setting up vendors and stuff, setting up the stages, getting lighting. So it's going to be a busy day Friday. This coming weekend is the weekend where Drew sleeps about 3 hours the whole weekend. Being the only security guy, I'm there day and night, watching everything. So we'll see. Let me see here. Let me see here. Let me see here. Joe, good morning, my friend. Long time no see, bud. Hope you're doing well. Drew needs to snowboard next winter. Drew would have liked to have snowboarded this winter. Drew would have liked to have snowboarded this winter. Drew just didn't have the funds to go out and get a board, and that resale place uptown here didn't have any this year. I actually looked into them because I can normally pick them up there for like, $5. Well, no, Tony, where I would snowboard at is I believe it's Arthur Dodd Park. It's out east of town out here, and it's just a big open hill. There's only one way to go up and down the hill. They have a big shelter house, and then there's probably 35 or 40 yards till you get to the base of the hill, and then the hill's probably 70 yards up the hill at about that kind of an incline. So, I can't run into anything except small children, but, they don't make very much of a bump. And if the snow's soft enough, you hit them just right, you can push them down into the snow and it doesn't even disrupt you. So, I mean, we'll see. Hopefully we'll have another good winter this next year, and I'll be able to do it. I still got to get Santee up here for the winter time. It's been a long time since he's been in the Midwest for winter. And I mean, I understand that, he's not used to it. But I'm more than happy to loan him a pair of gloves and a scarf. And to keep him from freezing to death. Besides that, I think his beautiful wife deserves another Midwest winter where she can build a snowman, make little snow angels, stuff like that. It didn't get that cold up here this year, though. We didn't even have any minus zero temperatures this year. I think the coldest we got, and it was just for a couple hours, was 13 degrees. But no, it really didn't get that cold. Our winter average this year was 25 plus. A lot of those little bastards got thick skulls. Yes, they do. And it's their own fault for trying to sled down a hill holding a tablet in their hand, talking to their friends or playing a game while they're sledding. Pick one. Don't take your devices out in the snow, and go out and sled. Get out of the house once in a while. Jesus H. Christ. Santee will freeze to death in Michigan. Morning, y'all. Can't talk at the church doing dishes. Don't you have enough stuff to do at home? Morning, Rusty. Miss you there, brother. Don't get to talk to you much anymore. Staying busy. I figured the wife kept you busy enough at home you wouldn't have time to go out and work anyplace else. That's a little better. A little bit more even that way. I didn't realize how off center I was. You know, I was at work the other day. I serve at the pleasure of my church. I can't blame you for that. I can't blame you for that. Back when I was a young man, and I went to church with my grandma all the time. I was always at their beck and call. Whatever it took to keep a smile on their face. I'm not sure who is going to run the show, so I'm not sure which channel, but I will try and inform by Friday morning. That's cool. I have to search the house out, see if I can find extension cords. Um, because I've got about 200 feet between the power source out there at the park and where I have to set up at to overlook the whole festival. I'm going to try to live stream Friday night. Not sure how that's going to work. They uh, they don't seem to like to bring their extension cords out. Now I might be able to get a hold of the lady in charge before then and see if her husband can bring some extension cords out, and I'll bring out a power strip. But we'll see. Going to take 5 dogs to get groomed this morning after dropping them off. I'll be going to get the front windows on the car tinted. Sounds like a busy day, girl. Sounds like a busy day. Well, folks, I got to head out. Got to get the kids up and around for doctor's appointment today. Uh, doctor's appointments. I don't even want to think about it. Next week, I have to go out and get a bunch of blood tests done, get X-rays done. So, yeah, needless to say, um, by next Monday afternoon, I'll probably look like a shriveled old frickin' raisin. They're gonna have to take a lot of blood out of me to get these tests done. I think I must have left my extension cords at the cabin. I had 500 feet. Just has to buy a couple. Charge mower, but yeah, I've been looking at them. I mean, I've got a little bit of cash saved up from my daily tips, but yeah, I mean, if I want food and stuff like that this weekend, I've got to be real careful going out and buying $20 extension cords. Only half a day. Have to get things done on my day off. Yep. But Ty, have some fun, man. Don't work too awful hard. You just take care of yourself. Give the girls my love, and we'll chat with you later. They're in my truck box. Well, they're not at the cabin. That's a good thing, I guess. Hey, overnight me about 225 feet. I promise you'll get them back sometime before you need them. Nah, I'll get a hold of the lady in charge's husband. See if he can bring some. He has a wood shop at his place, so he's got extension cords falling out of his yin yang. It'd be cheaper to go to yeah. They're about $20 a piece at Dollar General, and they only sell like yeah, they're about $20 a piece is what I saw the other day, and they only sell them in 25 footers. So I'm gonna have to buy 8 of them at $20 a piece, 25 foot. Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy 8 of them to make it to my camp. But I'm not even going to set up my regular camp this year. I'm taking a modern tent with me. I'm taking my cot. Might take my outside setup. I'm not even taking a full cooler with me. I'm going to take some wiener dogs and some buns and maybe some chips of some kind or another, and that's all I'm taking with me for the weekend. I'm not even taking bacon. I did that yesterday. Moved a new reclining sectional couch in the house. Hauled off 5 couches. Well, that's progress. I just bought 90 foot of 8 gauge. For your solar panels. Yeah, it is. It's very expensive right now. Only problem is the recycling places aren't paying those higher prices for them. 125 bucks. My God. 90 feet of duplex. Hey guys, don't forget to click that little thumbs up deal. I don't know why, but for some reason the algorithm likes that. And after yesterday's video, I need all the help with the algorithm I could get. I don't know what the deal was with that video. We've been doing really good on our views, on the videos, on people sharing the videos out. And, for some reason, yesterday's video has stopped at like 13 views, 13, 14, something like that. And it's not gone up any. So, the wiring for the cabin was like 500 bucks. Yeah, I'm sitting here right now looking at my view numbers for the last 2 days. 4 days ago, we were at 503 views on a 2 day period, and I'm looking at it right now, and it's like 239 for the last 48 hours. So yeah, definitely dropped like more than half. That is rule 12.2 and 14.2. Yeah, I've got a full roll of house wiring out in the shed, but we're actually discussing installing a couple ceiling fans. So I mean that's going to come in real handy. I'm just glad that it's still sitting out there in the box, all sealed up and pretty. No, I don't sweat much over the analytics. I try to keep my eyes on the the videos by the really successful channels, like StreamYard and vidIQ, things like that, that instruct on how to, especially now that we're monetized again. Um, those views are what get you paid. So, I mean, it's not necessarily the subscriber count now. It's more it's the views. So, without those views, you don't make your $100 limit, and well, needless to say, what's the use of getting monetized if you don't make that $100 minimum every month and get a check? Put ends on house fire. Yeah, I've done a lot of wiring in my time, both inside the walls and outside. Sadly, to install ceiling fans in this place, the way it's set up, I'm going to have to run the surface conduit from the ceiling fan straight over from the ceiling fan along the ceiling and then down the wall and just plug it straight in. We have two switches in the living room that control outlets. So what I'm going to have to do is run the conduit and just plug them in to the outlet. Yeah, exactly. Extension cord. I've wired into ceiling fans. I've rewired lamps, everything. So basically, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run the conduit down, plug it in. That way, when we flip the switch by the front door, or flip the switch by the bedroom door, it'll turn on different lights and stuff like that. Thing with the early watch is that from the start, never lean towards rules or trends. Money was never a thought. Need to head out. Have a great day. Be safe. You too, Jan. Have fun with the puppy dogs, and I hope they all look really pretty when they come back home. As for your window tinting, well, have fun with that too. I was never a big fan of getting like a windshield tinted. I don't mind side windows or back window, but I was never much on getting a. Then again, I don't work in law enforcement, so I don't need to see in other people's vehicles, and my opinion don't matter for shit. So that's how I feel about that. I do a lot of wiring at work, new shop, office, boss's house. Dang. I've never wired a, a breaker box, and that's something I would really like to learn how to do. But I've never wired a breaker box before. When I was building houses and everything, we always had licensed electricians come in, whether the state had requirements for them or not. Just something about turning on the main power, the house bursting into flames like a giant candle, and um, yeah, really isn't different than an electrical outlet. Black, white, and bare. Yeah, yeah. Positive, negative ground. Now neutral. Neutral, I call it negative, but yeah, same thing. Glub, 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 glub. Only thing about this new coffee pot is it pours a lot slower than the old one did. Then again, as long as I've been up this morning, it's probably getting real close to empty. Eh, I got enough to finish the stream. In every instance I ever seen, neutral and ground are connected at the bus bars. But yeah, I don't know if Santee's still in here or not. We've dropped over half since we started the stream. Um, I guess either this cute little punum has just made people's day or scared them away. I'm not really sure. But yeah, hopefully after next week, we'll be able to start getting regular investigations set back in the schedule again. Hopefully, Mark can hire some new security officers out at the casino instead of him having to cover everybody's shift himself. It's the only reason I would never be a manager at one of the casinos is when, even though you have two or three managers above you, the lowest level managers have to cover anybody who calls off, anybody who gets sick, anybody that can't make it. They call them in to cover it. Same with the wife. You know, she has Mondays and Tuesdays off, and I don't know if she is going to have to work today or not because one girl's at Hartford, Michigan, the place she had to go during training that's almost an hour away. She's got a girl that's her daughter's very, very sick. We don't know what the deal is, but she's called off quite a few times in the last 2 weeks. And Steph informed me last night before I went to bed on her break that she may have to drive to Hartford today and work. Don't know. So, morning, Wook. Was your ears ringing this morning? Because I was actually thinking this morning, man, I've not seen Wook or KG in forever. I think your ears were burning. I think all of a sudden you sat up in bed and thought, huh, what? Huh? Huh? I did the cover, everything at the Fed gig. Ah, gotcha. I was the only one on the force that was fully trained in riot control. That's what I'm going to look like this weekend. I'm going to look like I'm ready for riot control. I've got the Kevlar woven uh, pants, uh, the steel arch tack boots. I've got the tack vest, everything. So yeah, that's exactly. I'm gonna be looking. The only thing I'm gonna be missing is a helmet and a shield. But I'm sure it's a Ren Fair, so I'm sure I can pick up a cute shield somewhere. Good morning, Debbie. Good to see you. The only thing I'm missing are the security patches. I need to get my hands on a couple of them, even if I just use them once or twice a year. I need to get my hands on a couple of them. Did a lot in 16-hour days. You still do. I got hit with new virus. You get all the same symptoms. COVID, no COVID, and medicine for you. Have to let it take its course. I never had to do any crowd control, let alone the riots. Yeah. Yep. Well, I have everything from back when I worked security before I moved to Michigan. I worked at a storage facility for these huge industrial electrical units, and You know, I had most of my 10-hour shifts were going up into these units and checking them out, relocking them, checking the facility grounds, the fences, the gates. There was usually about 150 units inside this warehouse. They're like 25 or 30 foot long and about 10 foot wide, and they got a bunch of power units up inside them. Um, but that's what that job was all about. So, good morning, Mike. Good to see you, bud. Hope you're doing well today, sir. That fit as a fiddle and ready to tune, bud. I'm doing pretty good this morning, except for my damn eye. I think I got an eyelash up there under my eyelid, and it's just irritating the hell out of my good eye. Been bugging me since 4:30 this morning. God, this coffee's good. Kicking, kicking names and taking ass. I don't blame you. Oh wait, no, kicking ass and taking names. Okay, yep, I got you. No better way to start the day. You know, it's like I tell everybody down at the restaurant. They ask me how I'm doing. I said, well, the good Lord seen fit to wake me up this morning. What I do with the rest of the day, totally up to me, but it was off to a good start. KG, you lovely little critter, you. Hope you're doing well. Here's a strange thing from the state of Illinois. Good, I like strange things from Illinois. No, I went to Sleepy Hollow Road, did it overnight, never got out of the car, didn't even make it to midnight. I left at 9 p.m. That good, huh? Well, that just makes me even more anxious to make it down there. When a big feller like you gets scared and has to leave, all the more for me to go down there and work with. Big cup of Black Rifle, gonna crush the day. That's what I'm doing, bud. Got me a big old pot of some wonderful medium roast. I think this is one of my favorites. I got a set of license plates for my old Suburban in the mail last week. This being 1 month after I put a new sticker on. Why the hell they send you new license plates after you stuck a sticker on there? We got the Gunship light roast. Gunship is real good. Um, right, you want to try some good stuff. This is the dark roast right here. Blackbeard's Delight. This stuff is really good. It's got some good flavor. I've had the Gunship. Now the stuff I gave you was 5 Alarm. The stuff that I gave you to try, and it's a medium roast. I got to get my liquor bottle shelf cleaned off. I've started a collection of the different black roast flavors that Jan sends me, and that's why I always have her send something different. That way I can get all their all their selection set up back there. I didn't need new plates. We got but the gunship, that gunship is really good. I'm still on Tim Hortons. Still never tried Tim Hortons. I could not get out of the car. Something telling me don't get out of the car. It was telling me if I get something, if I do, something will happen. Always nice to listen to that something, even if you can't identify it, even if you don't think it's your conscience or your little internal warning or you know what I call my spidey sense. When you're sitting there and that feeling is so heavy on you that it's telling you not to get out, best follow its advice. Because 9 times out of 10, when that spidey sense goes off, that means something could happen. Whatever it was, you sold us on it. Get it auto shipped to the house now. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. That's why Jen picks it up for me. Uh, oh goodness gracious. God, my eyes itching like crazy. Like I said earlier, blind in one eye and can't see out of the other today. This thing irritates me anymore. I'm going to go out and get a second eye patch. Yes, you guys can laugh at me, but when I go out on a really bright day, um, when I go out on a really, really bright day with this eye hazed over like it is, and like I said, the best way to describe it is taking your sunglasses or your regular glasses on a cold day, blowing on one lens and sticking your glasses on real fast. That's what this eye is like 24 hours a day. I can see really, really fuzzy shapes. So I have an eye patch I wear on really, really bright days because it's like it gives me a headache. The sun beating in on that haze, trying to stare through it. Um, but I get this eye screws up. I'm just going to take a pair of sunglasses and paint the lenses black and get me a tap, 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 tap. Get me a cane with a little buzzer on it so it tells me when I come up to obstacles and stuff. Get me a seeing eye cat. Paul Bain Jr. How you doing today, man? Welcome in, my friend. I had that feeling about my ex-wife. So did I. The only problem is, it was too fine for me to pass up. And, well, needless to say, once she possessed my soul, it took, my God, it took 15 years getting out of that mess to finally get her exorcised. She needed some exercise. She was supposed to love me unconditionally. The only thing she loved was Twinkies. And you want a snowboard. Blind people can do anything other disabled people can. Like I said, if I run over a few small children going down the hill, I have an excuse. I'm sorry, officer. I was blind. They got in my way. I have this big sign right here, blind man snowboarding. I had my cane tapping it going down the hill. Collateral damage. Exactly. Little boogers don't see the guy coming down the hill tapping a cane on his snowboard. It's their own fault. They didn't get out the way. Pay attention. Get off, like I said earlier, get off your damn tablet while you're sledding down the hill, and you'll be fine. You'll survive it. Stay on the tablet, keep playing Roblox while you're sledding down a hill. You might get hit by a blind dude. I feel like something was looking at me through the window. Could have been. Could have been. You'd never know. Like I said, always trust the feeling. Death Wish coffee's good. Still never had that. But I've heard a few people talk about Death Wish. Why the hell would you trust a cat? They just wait for you to die so they can eat your... Well, because if I got a dog, Ralph would beat it up, much like he did Steph's son's pit bull and everything else. Ralph taught that dog really fast when she was only about 6 or 8 months old. This is my house, and you will do what I tell you to do. And I tell you, come in this house, get up on the couch, lay down, don't move. Look, outside just screaming. Okay, little bro, go wake up, mama. Get her ready to go to work. You have a great day. I'll see you soon. If you're not doing anything later, Mike, pop over. As of right now, mama's in bed asleep. Me and you can sit out on the porch, sit there in the kitchen, whatever. You know, I'll even keep the coffee pot on. Nope. Off today. This is my only day off until Friday, which is why I've got some like two double shifts this week to make up those hours and those tips. Don't give me any ideas. All right, bud. Sounds good. But either way, I'll talk to you sometime today, either face to face or on the phone. Deep for Ouija board, dowsing rods, REM pod, or necrophonic ghost tube, SOS. I've actually never used a Ouija board. Tommy Tombstone always uses his Ouija board at really active places. I have never sat down with him and used it. In same as I've never used dowsing rods. But I have used REM pods, and I've used necrophonics and SLS. So that's always worked best for me. First time I cooked steak last night was fantastic. First time for steak in years. Every once in a great blue moon, and I know you live a ways away, Tony, from your local store, but our stores around here, usually about 8 o'clock in the morning, they'll take all the steak and stuff that they set out the day before, and they'll mark it down, throw it in the manager special bin. So every once in a great blue moon, if the wife has to run to the store first thing in the morning, she'll grab up some steaks and bring them home. Either we'll throw them on the grill, or she'll make steak tacos or something like that. Um, she got a really good deal on some thin sliced steak last week. I think she paid $5, $6 for four nice little steaks, about twice the size of a dollar bill. And she wound up making steak broccoli and mushroom stir fry. So I mean, this stuff was only a quarter of an inch thick. Tommy believes paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren were fake. Um, do I agree? That's a good question, Debbie. That's really a good question. I'm very torn. I'm very torn with Ed and Lorraine. Um, Granted, they had some amazing investigations in different locations in England and all over America. Um, I don't think I don't think they were fake per se. Um, I think they might have over dramatized some once in a while. I mean, when you're doing an investigation and you get a voice box response and you're like, oh wow, that was really cool. There's a big difference between surprise, oh wow, and oh my god. And I think that was one of the big things is they would over exaggerate their excitement at times, and maybe that was just their personality. Who knows? As for fake, I really honestly don't think so. They done way too much in too many different locations, um, and a lot of times they followed up on what the people that regularly inhabited those locations were. Yes, I do believe Lorraine was a clairvoyant. I do believe Lorraine was a clairvoyant. She has all of the signs and symptoms, as I like to call them, of being a clairvoyant. So, yes, I do believe that she was a clairvoyant. I had intended to cut these up for sirloin tips. Cool. They were ribeye, but still. Yeah, I mean, it works. I consider the bargain bin aged beef. It's all good. Oh, yeah, most definitely. Well, they when they process that beef, um, they basically, they inject that beef with formaldehyde, the same thing they put into a human body for a funeral and burial and stuff to keep it preserved longer. But after a couple days, that formaldehyde starts to dissolve, and that's why your beef slowly starts to turn brown, and that's why it gets thrown into that manager special bin. Good morning, sunshine. Not a good morning. Okay.
Tucker's trying to rape Kenny again.
Why? Because Kenny is a hermaphrodite. I think Kenny has balls and a vagina.
There was remnants on his back. Because, of course, he doesn't understand, I guess, where the whole, I don't know what's happening, but it's on his back again.
Well, and that's just, Kenny's a hermaphrodite and Tucker don't have any aim. Tucker's like a 15-year-old trying to get his first piece of a cheerleader. I mean, he's, putting that thing wherever he can to make contact and...
On the back?
On the back of the head. the kneecap, wherever, the armpit. If you take your shirt off, you put your arm down like this, and you take a real close picture of your armpit right here, it kind of looks like a vagina. I mean, who knows?
They normally do it right here.
Well, yeah, or here, yeah.
Oh my.
This is the shit we talk about early in the morning, guys, and you think your lives are interesting.
I put Tucker outside to step.
Tucker was outside early. Ash let him out earlier when I took the trash down.
Well, I said, "Do you want to go outside?" He said, jumped all psychotic and ready to.
Ash must have let him back in before she left.
I don't.
Do you believe you can freeze the old stuff and it's fine? Yeah, it is. It is. That's what we do. She'll buy it, bring it home. If she's not going to use it right away, we'll stick it in the freezer and it's perfectly fine. If you had the chance to meet the Annabelle doll or Robert the doll, would you? Oh, in a split second. In a split second. I have absolutely no issues whatsoever. Matter of fact, first thing I would do is I would walk into the Annabelle doll and I would more than gladly open the case up, look her straight in the eyes and tell her how incredibly beautiful she is. And that I have waited forever to meet her and to let her know that I think she's beautiful and I highly respect her. Robert the doll, of course, I would tell him he was a handsome little man and, see if I can get him to talk to me. I'm listening to this conversation. It's worth listening to. What about Cabbage Patch dolls? Well, a lot of people don't know this, but my sons, my oldest sons were born in October of '89, and they were 5'13" and 6'15" in weight. And needless to say, the only thing we could find that didn't swallow them up to take them home from the hospital in were Cabbage Patch dolls, tuxedos. And I went out and got them both little tuxedos with little red bow ties, and at the local department store, just a few blocks from the hospital. And that's what my boys came home in. Actually, they got their pictures taken at the hospital in their little Cabbage Patch tuxedos that fit them perfect. No lie. And that's what they came home in, were those little tuxedos. I miss the 80s. There are times I do too. And that's why I would like to get to one of my class reunions before we lose any more of my class. Well, number one, our reunions are all 80s themes. People bring in their cassette players. They bring in all their old music. When we do have a band, they play nothing but 80s music. Yeah, I miss the 80s. I had 4 daughters in the early 80s. I'm familiar with Cabbage Patch dolls. Do I believe in ghosts? Well, hell yeah, I believe in ghosts. I wouldn't be going out as often as I can looking for the evidence to prove their existence if I didn't believe in them. I mean, I have a little bit of skepticism in me, don't get me wrong. You don't want to just put anything up on a video and then have somebody else catch something you missed or debunk something that you put up on video. Of course I believe in it wholeheartedly. And don't get me wrong, I didn't used to be a skeptic, but dealing with people who have done investigations, 2, 3, 4, 5 times longer than I have, has taught me that it's always good to keep a little bit of skepticism and look to debunk your own mistakes so somebody else don't come along and make you look bad. So when I edit an investigation, whenever I see an orb, I zoom in, I slow it down to one tenth of its speed. I look for anything that could be a wing. I look for anything that could be, a dust particle, a raindrop, anything like that. July 13th, 1985, one of the greatest days in music. Have you heard of a guy named Have you heard of a guy named Tommy Johansson? No. I mean, I think the name sounds familiar, but I don't know where I've heard it from or who he was. Do you believe exorcisms are real, or is it just mental illness? No, exorcisms definitely real. Exorcism. I have witnessed um, too many exorcisms. Um, yeah, no, yeah, I completely believe they're real. Guitar player for the band Sebastian. Hmm. July 13th, 1985 was Live Aid. I think the first of many. They done Live Aid. They done Live Aid. My God. Now my eyes watering so bad, I got my nose running. Uh, they done Live Aid. My God, what for 15 years, 20 years, something like that. John Cougar, Mellencamp, Willie Nelson. Um, God, they've had huge names. Bruce Springsteen. Um, God, who else, guys? They've had a buttload. Every once in a while, when Rusty does Today in History, he'll hit on a day where they had a Live Aid, and he'll list some of the bands that were in there. Am I thinking of Farm Aid? They did that forever too. Live Aid. Maybe I am thinking of Farm Aid. I don't know. There was too many aids out there. Eh. Look him up on YouTube if you like classic rock. Dude does covers that are fucking astonishing. Oh God. Check my eye out. See if she can get that thing out of there. Like I said, I've been trying for hours and it's not coming out, so Live Aid has only happened 2 times. Oh, my bad. Just goes to prove that I don't know everything. How about that? But then again, I never claimed to. Oh, let's see here. Oh, tomorrow, guys, about 10 a.m., we have a video coming out. Um, Very unusual for this channel. It is a solved yet unsolved um, mystery about a young man. What was his name? What was his name? Joshua Maddox. He disappeared back in 2006, and nobody's seen or heard from him for 7 years. And he was found after 7 years in an old cabin used for storage, jammed up the chimney in the fetal position, feet first, and the police ruled it an accidental death, even though there was no way to get down the chimney because it had a wrought iron grate built into the top of the chimney that a person couldn't get through. So he was actually forced up the chimney, and then the breakfast nook was jerked off the wall and pulled in front of the fireplace. But the police ruled it an accidental death. There's a lot more to the story. I would suggest checking it out because it's pretty good. Of course, Thursday, much like I promised a few months ago, we are going to slam into some soiled doves. 150 plus photos of soiled doves from the Old West. Granted, some of the pictures are of the doves. Some of them are, well, what do they call them? Cabinet cards. But still, a nice collection of photos. Told you guys I was going to hold off on another soiled doves video till after we got monetized. It's time. Queen was the best part of that show. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Yes, you are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Queen. God. Wonder what Freddie Mercury would think today if he could see, and if there truly is an afterlife, he can see the impact that his music has made on the world. All the people that are singing his music, you know, The Voice, Britain's Got Talent, America's Got Talent, all the people who are singing his music today, and what his music from 20 or 30 years ago has become. Of course, you guys that have been with me for a while know that I've always been a Queen fan, and I probably always will be a Queen fan. I would love to see him in concert. Never had the chance. Canada Got Talent, you are absolutely correct, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Conundrum. Nothing beats a good conundrum. Here's a story like that where a kid died in a chimney working for a sweep. Yeah, this happened in Colorado, and like I said, it's a messed up story. It's got to be some kind of a police cover-up. I mean, people have even told them, witnesses came forward and told the police, we saw this kid with this kid out walking, and this kid has already been in jail for stabbing a man to death. And a lot of people believe that between that crime and some of the other crimes, this kid had the makings of a serial killer. But the police didn't even question him. They did not even question him. They ruled it an accidental murder or an accidental death, which means this kid would have to, and this is the thing, when they found his body, when the guy that owned the cabin went in to remodel the cabin, They found his clothes neatly folded with his shoes and socks sitting next to the fireplace. So he was jammed up this fireplace in the fetal position. The breakfast nook pulled over in front of it, his clothes neatly folded, and it was an accidental death. I don't know why, but for some reason that just sounds like a great big bucket of bullshit to me. But that's just my opinion. I'm not an investigator. I'm not a homicide investigator. I'm telling you, look up Tommy Johansson, the dude, maybe the best male voice of his age. Very cool. I will look him up. I will look him up. I'm back. Drop dogs off. Now waiting for time for the window tint. Welcome back, dear. Good to see you. I need to black out my Suburban. Now that you got two Suburbans, Tony, I would have an everyday Suburban, and I would have an SHTF Suburban. You know, hidden storage compartments underneath the seats and stuff for, weapons and survival gear and stuff like that. And that's what I'd do. Communication equipment, What's your favorite horror movie franchise? Exorcist, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, The Conjuring, or Saw? Man, that's a hard one right there. That's a hard one right there. I think, if I like them all, but I think if I had to sum it up, I'd have to say Freddy. I'd have to say Freddy. Only because I think the only thing in this world that I'm actually afraid of is the things I can't control. And you can't control what happens in your dreams. They come with that. Now here's something to think about. Chew on this one for a second. In the Saw franchise, was Jigsaw actually a killer? Was Jigsaw actually a killer? He would put people in these scenarios, but they had as good a chance of getting out alive as they did something happening to them. That's like mounting a shotgun to a table, tying a string to the trigger, and tying it to a guy's finger. And well, needless to say, you look at him and you say, if you do this, you will die. And what's the dude do? You walk out of the room and he's like, or he slides the string off his finger and he walks away. I got all the others. I got several 44 Magnums. There you go. That works. Good morning, Masha. Good to see you. Doc! Doc, you little bugger, you. How you been doing? Ain't seen you in God since forever, man. Told you to do a live stream once. You flippin' did it, and then you vanished again. I know you're not that busy. You are like 17 years old. I know you are not that busy. I've had weird dreams. Oh, I have too, Conundrum. I have too. Good, I'm in Missouri. Finally get down to Missouri, huh? I'm glad you're a little bit closer to me now. Now you're only about 7 hours, 6 hours. I think Tyler's about 5 hours from me. So you might be 6, 7 hours from me now instead of, almost 24 hours away like it was before. Finally made it. How about that? Now you just got to get yourself a car and come and see me. Ah. All the great ones end up in the show me state. Yep, they sure do. Which haunted location would you prefer to investigate? Asylum, cemetery, or morgue? We do a lot of cemeteries here because some of the other places are just too hard to get into. I would love to do an asylum. I would love to do an asylum. That would be the epitome of an investigation to me, doing an asylum. An asylum or an old prison. I'd love that. Oh, I have a car now. Cool. Who was that? Who was that? Good morning, Bud Files. Good to see you. I just need somebody pop in up here. Freedom. Good morning, dear. Good to see you. I would say happy Monday, but we all know there is no such a thing. So, I hope you're well. Or Battlefield. I've actually done the Battlefield. Now, when we went to Gettysburg back in October of 2020, that was a great investigation. That was a great investigation. That whole place is haunted. Yeah, the whole place is haunted. I mean, even back at the hotel in town, we were seeing and hearing things. So, but I mean, you figure 21 square miles of battlefield, 55,000 dead all over the place. Yeah, definitely a lot of spirits there. Some residual, some intelligent. But yeah, definitely a battlefield was very cool. I Google Map contact in a day. It'll take me 1 day, 9 hours to drive. Very cool. Good morning, USA. Have a feeling it's going to be a wonderful day. Every day you wake up, man, it's a hell of a start. What you do with your day after that is totally up to you. Would you do overnight investigation in an abandoned house and sleep the night there? I don't know if I'd sleep. I don't know if I'd sleep or not. I think I'd be too busy investigating. I'd probably sleep a little bit just to see what happens, what kind of activity there is while I'm sleeping. But yeah, I have no problem doing an abandoned house. I'm in it for the proof, the evidence. Um, there's very little that I wouldn't do to find evidence to help provide truth and proof. Um, Yeah, there's very little I wouldn't do. Um, enough booze and you could sleep. Now, yeah, if I wanted to drink on investigation. Now, if it was like an old abandoned saloon or something like that, I'd definitely pop a bottle and leave it sitting on the bar, maybe even pour a couple shots and see what happens. I saw that you were on and thought I would stop by. I'm glad you did, bud. I'm glad you did. I usually I have to, work or have something to do on a day off because usually Monday's my only day off. But I've got a security gig next weekend at the Ren Fair in Niles, Michigan. So, and I won't be, that's 3 days off work. So I had today, which is supposed to be my regularly scheduled day off with the wife. So I'm going to be working like 2 days of double shifts this week to cover up the days that I'm losing. So, when they're done that, I'd like to see an investigation of insane asylum in Crofton Lecter was kept. Warren. If only the Warrens left you overnight in their museum. Oh, I would, I would, I would gladly go to the Warrens Museum and do an investigation. It would have been so cool if you visited the Warren Museum. You got to spend the night investigating the Annabelle doll. Yeah, definitely. I'd love it. That would be huge. That would be epic. Um, yeah, definitely. Lecter would have a lot to say. Oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely. And that's one reason, the museum thing. I love doing museums. Um, that's one reason I'm hoping Danny gets the next um, Ghostorama set up at the Van Buren Museum. Um, very nice location. We've done it once. Five stories tall, like 45 rooms, 47 rooms, something like that. Just full of Michigan history. What? Don't recognize that number. Let me see here. I'm gonna jump off, but I'll try to join your later streams. No, because I got to go to Tennessee on Wednesday night. Sounds like a fun trip to me. Enjoy yourself, bud. You know you're welcome in anytime. Don't know whose car that is. There were a lot of people who came and went through the asylum, had a large body count. That's why they were shut down. Oh, wow. Very cool. But you take care, Doc. Like I said, you know you're welcome back anytime, bud. What was it Masha said? I missed it. Um, the history, seeing your different costumes, clothing brings us back in time. And I try. I try to do just that. Give people that little short trip back in time with the different outfits and stuff that I wear. Would you consider taking a psychic medium with you on your next paranormal investigation? Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I have a lot of faith in psychic ability. Being sensitive myself. I have a lot of respect for mediums and their abilities. So most definitely, if I had a good psychic medium around, I mean, we have Heather, but she's just coming into her abilities, so a lot of things pass her by. Where someone a little older, someone more experienced, would definitely be a benefit to the group. Crofton, Maryland Road, where the Ren Festival is. Oh, very cool. I didn't know that. The museums and homes have caught on. So many paranormal investigators are interested in prices, and the prices can be expensive. And see, that's why with my group, I always say that, the investigation and everything is free, but we do accept free will donations. It's not about the money. It's about how you can help these people. I mean, if they want to help you with gas and your time, batteries for your equipment, things like that, then yeah, definitely so. But it's not about the money. It's about helping them. Um, either helping the spirits find the rest they deserve, or helping the families um, find the rest they deserve. Are you an empath? I've been called that. I've been called that. Whether or not it's true or accurate, um, I don't know. But since 2016, and what happened to me back then, me crossing over twice in a 1 hour period, um, my sensitivity has got a lot stronger. Well, there, Jan said it for me. How about that? I'll be with Drew in August. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. It'll be a good one, too. You do a fabulous job, Drew, with the outfits. Love it. Thank you, Masha. I appreciate that, honey. Yep, I crossed over back in 2016. I went into diabetic shock. No signs, no symptoms, no nothing. Um, both times I crossed over, I saw nothing but black. I heard whispers in the darkness. I felt very much at ease, but it was very black, and it was very, very cool. It wasn't cold, but it's like there was a cool breeze, like on a hot summer day when that cool breeze comes in and hits you in the face and everything. That's what it was like. So, I can't speak about, the final resting place. Does heaven exist? Does hell exist? Um, I don't know. I like to think that maybe I was in purgatory or something. And there is a nice, really pretty place that we spend eternity. But yeah, all I saw was the blackest black that you could ever imagine. And like I said, I heard voices. Um, they didn't really sound, but I mean, it was. I mean, it was like whispers in the dark. Um, I'd like to think that was whatever it was. But yeah, I saw nothing. What about out of body experience? You didn't see your own body? No. Nope. Nope. After dying twice, they brought me back. My lungs started shutting down a third time. They induced a coma. I was in a coma for about a week and a half. Um, I remember, I remember pulling into the first hospital in the ambulance, looking out the back window. I saw the flagpole. I saw the flag blowing. I closed my eyes and didn't open them again for 10 days. Um, I went through a lot in the coma. My brain is still trying to, um, my brain is still trying to process. The brain is honestly the greatest computer ever created. It needs input. And when you're not seeing anything, you're not able to talk, you're not able to read, you're not able to watch a computer or a TV, you start to, um, your brain will start searching for input and new files to download into the memory. And it's really messed up because a lot of things they call it coma psychosis. Because when I came out of the coma, I started to go back and see the doctors again. I asked them and told them about some of the things I seen in my coma, and they're like, "Oh, that's just coma psychosis. People have really weird dreams and stuff when they're in a coma." I'm like, "No, these were not dreams, but I was feeling things. I was eating things. I was hearing things. I was carrying on conversations with people I knew. You know, it wasn't anybody strange. It wasn't anybody from my past that's passed on. It wasn't, I mean, it was people here. And, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to them, and a nurse walks by the door, and I'm like, I talked to her. I talked to her. So, yeah, God only knows. Was it painful? No, no, it wasn't painful. I mean, the pain I was going through before I closed my eyes, it was not painful per se. It was weird. When you're perfectly fine, you're off doing a festival. 3 weeks before you do a festival for a solid week, 9 days. You come back home. 2 weeks later, you get married. 10 days later, you go into diabetic shock and you die on your brand new wife. Um, we went on our honeymoon, and I had absolutely no energy. We went to Chicago. I always wanted to see downtown Chicago. I wanted to see the train station. I wanted to see Navy Pier. I wanted to go to, oh God, I can't remember the name of that place. Medieval Times, and have dinner and see the jousting and stuff like that. Um, but I had no energy. We walked a little bit early in the day when I had just woke up and I was feeling better. And by noon or 1 o'clock, I was ready to go back to the hotel room and just watch TV and sleep. And, we spent 3 days away, and 7 days later was the 4th of July. And we went to the beach. I felt great. We were swimming and everything. I took one drink of a beer. got sicker than a dog, and laid down on one of the picnic tables on the seat of the picnic table and fell asleep. They woke me up like 4 hours later, said, "Come on, we're going home." I helped them load the car up, walked to the car, no problem. Came back home, got in the shower, went and sat down with the wife, watched TV, crawled in bed that night, woke up the next morning and couldn't move. She called the EMTs. They came and got me. She jumped in the back of the ambulance with me, and within a 9-minute drive to the first hospital, I closed my eyes, and that was it. I was the doctor at that ER looked at me for 10 seconds, said, "He's dying. He's dying. We need to take him to Kalamazoo now. Lights, sirens, speed limit, go." And they closed the doors back up. My wife jumped in the side door with the EMT, and we were flying. And they got me, they made the 40-minute drive in about, 40-minute drive in about 28 minutes. And as soon as we pulled into the ER at Kalamazoo, I flatlined the first time. They brought me back, got me inside the building. I flatlined a second time. They brought me back. I was doing just fine, and they said about 10 minutes later, they noticed that my breathing was getting very shallow, and I was fading, and they induced a coma, and that was it. I was unconscious for everything after we pulled into the very first hospital. So. Painful? I wouldn't really say painful. I would say just scary as hell would be a really, really good way of putting it. I mean, especially knowing that I have a brand new wife and a brand new little girl and a brand new stepson and a brand new family, and just all of a sudden I start feeling sick. It was scary. I'm not going to say it was painful. I'm just going to say it was scary as hell. Thank you, Freedom. I appreciate that, honey. I'm glad to still be here, too. Kind of implies marriage is deadly. It'll kill you. It'll kill you. Marriage itself might not kill you, but your spouse might. The really nice thing is I can look back on it and I can make jokes now. I tell the wife all the time I was perfectly healthy till I married her. And, all of her, Polish cooking and stuff like that gave me diabetes and killed me. I said, but the joke was on you because you didn't have life insurance on me yet. So you would have been screwed. Aren't you happy I survived now? Apparently she is, because now there's life insurance on me. Drew, you see Santee's video on Johnny Ringo? Yeah, I sure did. I sure did. Good video. Really good video. Some people say they could see a large... There it goes again. Wow. Now whatever it is under my bottom eyelid, so it should be easier to find now. Some people said we can really collect you. if you're referring to death, yeah, apparently it just wasn't my time. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about death himself, apparently he just wasn't interested in me, or he knew it was not going to be my time. So he didn't even bother to come and say hello. Buddy Biggs, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well this morning. I wonder what really happened to Ringo, if he killed himself or was killed by buckshot Frank Leslie. I don't know. That's a good question. Sadly enough, there was no CCTV back then and there were no witnesses. So, I mean, God only knows. I'm doing very well. I got my smoker going. I'm making about 3 pounds of beef jerky. Very cool. Very cool. You can get a hold of me on Messenger. I'll send you my physical address. So mail me some. Because I'm sure your jerky in a smoker tastes better than mine, either in the oven or hanging over a fire. But all I make is bacon jerky, so I mean, it is its own food group. That does sound delicious, don't it? Good homemade beef jerky. Then again, to me, beef jerky is a meal, it's not a snack. I'd sit down, eat a pound of beef jerky, and not think twice about it. My mother-in-law got me one for those pellet-fired smokers for Christmas a couple years ago. I love the thing. Yeah, I'd like to sooner or later, if I could actually find one, and then find somebody with a welder. I want to get one of those big 55-gallon drums and then actually weld a half a drum on the end of it and make a grill that I can actually, entertain a large group of people with, but also have a big enough smoker on the end that if I want to stick, a big roast or something in it, or a big brisket, even a 20-pound turkey, 25-pound turkey, put it in there and let it go. We have a little teeny tiny round grill out here I can get about 8 burgers on. I want something big because I love to grill. I have one of those Brinkman little smokers. Need to get new bowls and grills for it. You clowns creep the hell out of you. Nope. Love clowns. The wife is scared to death of them. I love them. Take care. Have a blessed day. You too, Freedom. Take care. Have a good day. We only got about 10 minutes left ourselves. I'm going to head out and try to enjoy a little bit of day with the wife before she finds out whether or not she has to go to work. So you have yourself a good day. And I think we'll be on Wednesday night. I hope we'll be on Wednesday night. I haven't looked at my schedule. I don't know. I think it's Tuesday and Thursday that I work my doubles. I think Wednesday's still clear. I don't know. I gotta check and see. I have to look at the schedule. Then that will help me decide um, um, if I'm going to live stream tonight or wait till Wednesday. I have to go outside and mow my lawn. Yesterday, yeah, we finally got ours mowed last week, and I might have to do it again after I get off work one day this week just to keep it looking good. All the rain and stuff we got this spring got the grass really full and green. So, I got to keep the yard looking good. Who would win in a fight, Chucky or Annabelle? Well, that's a really good question. I think if I had to, write that script, I really honestly think it would be Chucky. I mean, where's he at? Where's he at? Friends till the end. No, the only reason I say very possibly Chucky in that is because though Annabelle is a possessed doll, she don't move, she don't do anything. She just makes bad things happen. But since Chucky has been, possessed by demonic witchcraft or evil black witchcraft, he regenerates. So if anything that she makes happen to him, he's just going to regenerate and come back swinging. So, has anybody ever tried to cut Annabelle's head off? Hmm. Does that spirit just release into the ether sphere, or does it come back? Does she regenerate and her head pop back on? Who knows? So I would have to go with Chucky on that one. Diabolical. I want to see that Megan movie. Megan is good. We saw it when it hit the streaming services. It is good. Big dog, what's up, you crazy bastard? You crazy bastard. How about that? Now you see how me and Danny feel about each other. We're both just a couple of crazy bastards. It's probably why I love him so much. How you doing this morning, Dan? Good, I hope, bud. That is well thought out position on the outcome. Satanic doll fight. I love me some Chucky. I love me some Chucky. He's a cool little psycho bastard. I'm back again. Didn't take me long to get there. Uh, cool. Cool. Just gives you more time to get everything done on your day off. How about that? I can still, woman. This WB shit gets old. I'll tell you another one that I always liked. And I know we're down to about 5 minutes, but and y'all can laugh at me, y'all can poke fun. I don't care. Tony laughs at me and pokes fun anyway, so I'm just going to add fuel to the fire here, or well, pellets to the smoker. But I always liked the Leprechaun movies. Maybe the first couple, Leprechaun in the Hood wasn't exactly what I would call a classic, but I liked, some of the Leprechaun movies. Only because I was always a fan of Warwick Davis. Ever since he played Wicket the Ewok in Empire Strikes Back, when he was only like 16 or 17 years old. But between playing Leprechaun and playing one of Gringotts' goblins on the Harry Potter series and playing in Willow and Empire Strikes Back, I've always liked Warwick Davis. So never seen one of those. I would watch the first one again several times, only because the whole thing about the little crazy psycho nutcase chasing down people that get their hands on his gold, and how they get their hands on his gold. The second one, same thing. Good movie, decent storyline, but once you get to Leprechaun in the Hood and stuff like that, it's kind of like Jason Jason in Space and stuff. They just started reaching for whatever they could do to bring him back on the screen for a little bit, regardless of how crappy the storyline was. Do you like Puppet Master? Not one of my favorites, but still a good scary movie. And the one thing I liked about those movies back then, the Leprechaun movies, Chucky, Jason, Michael, Freddy, Puppet Master, Pumpkinhead, things like that, they were more psychological. You didn't actually watch them slashing on people to get the hell scared out of you. They were psychological. Knowing it was happening was worse than seeing it happening, because then your imagination drew the picture. There's only so much that animation can do in a film, or special effects, but man, our imaginations are limitless. This modern gore film genre, gorer, I guess it's a word. If not, I'm going to officially make it a word. I'm not a big fan of the gore stuff. Like in Saw, they put that thing on the guy where it's in his mouth and everything. If he gets the question wrong, there goes the top of his head. Completely ripped off. I don't need to see that to be scared of it. Just the idea that this thing is here, stuck on in his mouth, and if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, it's going to rip the top of his head off. I don't need to see it happen for it to scare the hell out of me. I haven't seen any of those. We'll have to check them out. Only horror I care for is old Universal horror movies. See, I like the old Universal stuff too. Only because it was more psychological. It was a scary looking monster. It was, I think back to that, what was it, House on Haunted Hill? When, the girls down the basement, the trap doors lifted up with the pit of acid right there. The skeleton comes out of the pit of acid. It chases her around the room. It's like, she backs in, falls in the damn thing, and the door closes back down. You know what's going to happen to her. She's got, when that door opened and the skeleton came out of the acid and chased her around the room, you knew the dummy was going to back in there. It's like, watch where you're going. Damn. Let's see here. I saw my daughters destroy every kind of doll that came across the threshold. Dolls ain't scary. Walking Dead. Definitely watched The Walking Dead up until they um, what was it, the beginning of the 7th season or something like that, um, where old boy took the baseball bat to everybody and killed them. We quit watching it then. It just got stupid. One of these days I might sit down and watch the last couple seasons. I don't know. Just got lost interest. Yeah, I prefer psychological thriller. I love the old franchise movies. Definitely. I lost interest in The Walking Dead in the first episode. Oh, me and Steph were stuck on it. You know, there are so many diseases out there that can, maybe not to that extent, but there are so many diseases out there that can cause the human body to act in a zombie-like state where the simplest instincts take over. Advanced communicable diseases can actually cause the flesh to rot and can make a person's brain just get so riddled with holes that it don't operate in a normal human state anymore. So, yeah, I mean, the idea of a zombie apocalypse, maybe not as in the undead zombies, as we know them, but still something like that. And I think that's one of the biggest fears with a major pandemic is you don't know how the human body is going to react to these things. How much of the population is going to be immune to it? How's it going to interact with different races of men? So that's one of the big fears of a pandemic scare or something like that is that apocalyptic state. What's life going to be like? Sit in again, JJ. First 4 seasons are pretty cool. The scary part of The Walking Dead is the premise that everyone has it. Yeah. We'll have all day to watch things. Well, there you go. But anyway, guys and girls, it is that time. It is time for me to be like a fat baby and head out. Time for me to be like a tree and leave. Time for me to be like a bunch of birds and get the flock out of here. So, good night, Debbie. You have yourself a good day. Get a good night's sleep. Have yourself a good night. Have a good night's sleep. As for the rest of you, I will go out. I will look at my schedule. I will know about whether or not we're going to stream tonight or I'm going to be able to do it on Wednesday night. We'll just have to see. But until then, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. God bless you. God love you. We do. We'll catch y'all later.